In this series, we're going to talk about the interesting ways that the technical success team at Gtmhub help our clients leverage Gtmhub to achieve their goals. We're going to talk about a really common issue that our clients come to us with, engagement with OKRs. So people completing their updates and making sure things are up to date. So I'll start with a question. Kraig, what percentage of your clients would you say you've discussed issues of engagement with?
I would say 100%, Aidan.
Yeah.
100% of customers come to us and ask us how to measure engagement and how to get their employees more engaged within the Gtmhub system. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to, are they following the methodology, and how do we make sure that they're following the methodology? Are they in the system updating their OKRs? Are they commenting? Is there transparency? Every customer comes to us asking how to measure this and what we can use, what metrics we can use to measure this.
So how do we track and improve engagement in Gtmhub, and how does that differ to what people usually expect?
Yeah, so in Gtmhub, we have a plethora of data that we can use to measure engagement. And a common misconception in organizations is engagement is directly tied to logins and how many people in the organization is logging in and how consistently. While that is part of it, a huge factor that isn't considered is, are they making worthwhile updates? Are they commenting? Are they updating their confidence? Are they doing all of these little things that really give transparency to what the organization is doing and what they are doing to help the organization? So within our system, we have this data to be able to measure and truly measure engagement with employees and if users are in there making good updates.
So how are we doing things differently compared to if you were doing things through an Excel sheet, or if you were doing things even through a result orchestration system, but you weren't doing it with technical success?
So within Gtmhub, there is infinite possibilities of what you can create through what we call insight boards. And within this section, we have created a gamification version of engagement, meaning we have turned engagement into a game in which employees can compete to see who is the most engaged and who is updating the most and who is commenting the most, and really trying to drive engagement within the organization. And as we were talking earlier, carrot and stick, there is a reward for whoever is most engaged within our system. That reward is based on the organization. Some organizations do gift cards, some do tickets for raffles. It all is dependent on the organization, but positive reinforcement for engagement and making it more of a game and more of a challenge and competitive spirit, it really drives engagement and really gets the habit of getting into the system and updating and creating that transparency that every organization needs.
I guess what we're saying is, with modern knowledge workers, no longer is chasing people about their productivity a way to drive people forward. What people are looking for is a challenge, something to get the teeth stuck into, basically.
So yeah, this is an example of a gamification of engagement within Gtmhub. So like I said, this is an insight board that we can do anything with, and which makes Gtmhub very powerful in what we are capable of. And the only limit is the imagination of us and the organization we're working with. But this is an example engagement challenge in which users compete to see who gets the most points by the end of the quarter. Now, this point calculation is customizable to whatever the organization needs. But in this case, it's a combination of updating, commenting, and how well their objectives are aligned with their overall company objective. So with this combination, we're able to get a score, and everyone competes for this score. And then at the end of the quarter, which is this time frame here, there will be a prize for the top 3 contestants. Now, this game has been changed per organization, but ultimately it is a way to get users engaged within the system in a fun way. not having someone babysit and send emails and try and get people to update. It's a proactive approach to getting engagement.
So maybe I'll just say, what are the configurability options for it?
Yeah, so for a configuration standpoint, it is almost completely customizable from the way it looks, the way it feels, and how the points are calculated. So for example, in this case, if you click on one of these, you see a breakdown of that employee's engagement. So as you can see, Alex Sweeney has an overall score, and these are the components of that score and how they can improve it. Other organizations have done it other ways in which it's more heavily how many times a user updates or how many times a user comments, instead of having a combination of all three of those components.
I guess it's good to mention that this is not linking OKR performance. You don't want to tie remuneration to progress. You don't want to be giving prizes out for the people who are achieving the most progress, because ultimately that's going to lead to people, sandbagging on their OKRs so they can win prizes next quarter. What this is about is constantly keeping up with the process of being engaged with OKRs.
Yeah, exactly.
So for the customers that have used the engagement challenge, what sort of outcomes have they seen from that?
So with the engagement challenge, across the board, every customer that's implemented has seen an increase in engagement. Whether that be 100% or 50% is dependent on a couple of factors: how the game is set up, if it makes sense to the users, how it's being communicated. But at the end of the day, it always increases engagement. It's a fun and interesting way. People are at least curious about it and will go and look at it, especially if there's a reward at the end that's worthwhile for them. They will go look at the engagement, see what it takes to gain points, see what they have to do to win. And then, some people will decide not to, but most people decide to start participating more and try and get the points to get the prize at the end of the quarter.
I think people probably appreciate companies making a positive step towards these things as well.
Exactly.
People are kind of fed up of reminder emails and Slack messages. It's nice to get a North Star to aim towards.
Yeah, and the funny thing that I see in most organizations is, while people might not strive to be the top, they don't want to be the bottom. So they will still go in and update, and just to not have 0 points next to their name, because it gives transparency to if people are updating to everyone, so everyone can see who is doing well and who is not. So it's a form of accountability as well as a game.
Yeah. OKR superpowers that we're talking about there.
Yeah.